What's up, guys? Welcome to your 148th Android tutorial for the new Boston, where hopefully we'll finish this get method example class, which is again going to just process some information from the internet via this HTTP client that we set up. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to set up a URI, which is basically going to be our website that we're referring to get some data. So we're just going to create a URI, and we're just going to call this website, something like that. We're going to set this equal to a new URI, and then we give the website we want to interpret the data from. So http / www.mybringback.com, and that's our website that we're going to use. And again, you have to add your imports so we can use the URI. And now what we want to do is we want to set up basically the method that we want to use through our client. And since this is an example for get information, we're going to use HttpGet to process that data or get the information from that website. So we're going to set up a variable or instance of the class HttpGet, and we're going to call this our request. What we're going to do, we're going to set this equal to, again, just a new HttpGet method and then or instance of this class, import, and then what we can do is we can say our request dot set URI, and then we're going to refer to our URI that we just set up, which we call our website. And now we're going to use the get method with the set URI, again just from mybringback.com. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up basically the information that we're getting from the website, and that's going to be our response. So we're going to set up HTTP response, and we're going to call this just response as well, or response. And basically this is the most important method to make everything happen. It's an execute method on our client. So we're going to say our variable, our HTTP variable, which we call the client, and then we're just going to say dot execute. As you can see, it takes within its parameters basically a get method, which we called request. And again, we set up our website connected to our request or get method, and that's what we're going to actually request. So we're just going to say request like that, and then add our imports again, and everything's good to go. So now that we've set up our method to kind of achieve some of that data, we want to make it readable, or we need to convert it into a string, and that's why we set up this buffered reader. That's going to allow us to read some of the information that we're getting. So we're going to set our buffered reader, which we called in, is equal to a new buffered reader, and it takes within its parameters an input stream. So we're going to have to create a new input stream reader, and within its parameters we're just going to get our response that we sent out. So we're going to say our response, and then we can get entity, and that's just going to open up the entity of the response if there is one, and then we're also going to say get the content after we open up the entity. And there we go, we've set up our buffered reader, and again we just import our input stream reader as well. And it looks like we're probably going to run out of time for this tutorial, so it'll probably be one more tutorial before we finish up this method. Thought we could get it done, but it's taking a little bit too long. But let's just talk over everything that we've done again. We set up a buffered reader to be null, and a string, which is our actual return data, to be null. We haven't gotten to that yet. But then what we do is we set up an HTTP client, which is just going to be kind of the default client. We set up a website that we want to process some information from, and we set up some sort of request or some sort of method. And since we're just trying to get the data, we're going to use the HTTP get. There's also a put. There's also like a post method that you can use, but right now we're just working with the get method. Then once we set up our request, which again is just our get method, we're going to set the URI to our website, and then we're going to try and execute everything. So we're going to refer to our client, and we're going to execute the request that we set up, and then we need some way to read it. So we're going to set up a buffered reader, which is going to take an input stream reader, which is basically converting this to input stream. and I have one extra parentheses there, so just delete that. And then that's going to allow us to get some sort of a buffered reader, which we're going to decode in the next tutorial. But thanks again for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.